This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Place to Be Nation Pop Experience. Welcome back to another episode of Whatever It Takes. I'm your host, James Gruenberg, and alongside with me, as always, I have Mr. John Kesalika. John, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing wonderful today. Thanks. Great to be back in Toronto with our friends from Degrassi, back on Degrassi Street, and with you, Gordon. Ready to dive into season 1 some more.
Yes, I am. But before we get into tonight's episodes, which we are covering episode 3 and 4, episodes 3 and 4, we'll start off with family politics. I wanted to go back to the first 2 episodes, Mother and Child Reunion, for a second. And from a deleted scene, they were talking about how their friend Wheels, the adult's friend Wheels, was in jail for DUI and for actual manslaughter because, well, actually, death caused by a car, they show a scene where Wheels is outside and he's trying to apologize to Lucy, but she doesn't want anything to do with him after the whole accident in Schools Out for Degrassi.
Yeah, we actually. So when we were talking about the episode in our first episode, I had, I guess, watched the version with the deleted scenes because that scene is definitely in there, and it's powerful. It is, for fans of the old show, we get some callbacks and some a bit of closure with Wheels, being able to kind of confront that and speak with Lucy because Lucy was injured in that crash as well.
Yes, so Lucy was blind for a little bit and she couldn't walk for a long time. Meanwhile, Wheels goes to jail. Wheels goes to jail, and he wasn't invited back to the reunion, obviously.
Right.
And another thing I wanted to point out too was that we're also getting the introduction to our school principal, Mr. Radich. He will be our principal for the majority of the show, for at least the first 4 seasons, and we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, and Radich is a callback again to fans of Degrassi Junior High, Degrassi High, as he was a teacher in those shows. So now we see that he's progressed to the principal of the school. So, some continuity there.
Yeah, so in our last episode as well, we've introduced a couple of characters, and we're going to get more. We've introduced so far Toby, JT, Emma, and Manny. Also, Ashley and Terri. Even if they just had small roles for the time being, it's going to pick up right away because tonight we are going to start the school year.
Let's go. Yeah, let's get into it. We've got a lot of grade 7s, grade 8 students to meet, and it all, the school year starts in earnest here.
Yep. So we have Degrassi episode 3. This is called Family Politics. Ashley is talking to Terri on the phone while talking about her campaign a little bit early for school elections already happening, that this all happens in the first week of school, John.
Rooney, I was thinking the same thing here, and I was going to ask you in your school, I feel like those school elections would be at the end of the year so that when you were starting the next year, you had the officers in place, not the first day, let's go in and vote for a student council president.
Well, it started when I was in the 6th grade. You would have the homeroom representative for the 6th and 7th graders, and I think even the 7th grade had the treasurer spot as well. 8th grade was the president, and it would be, I think, in mid-October actually. So you graduated middle school as class president.
Gotcha. Wow. So you had a full month there at the beginning of the school year, ungoverned.
Yep, exactly. Only the principal was governing the school, and then she turned it over to the eighth grade president.
Okay. Well, we're in Canada here, and we run our election. And apparently at Degrassi, those elections happen first week at school, and Ashley is hard at work on those posters in her room.
Oh, she is. Ashley knocks on the bathroom door, but her stepbrother, Toby, so now we know that Toby and Ashley are step siblings. Toby won't open the door or let her in. Toby is complaining. And then, so you get the back and forth banter where, Toby's like, "Oh no, I can't ruin the president's first day, blah blah blah, and everything." So, and she does the classic mom, little Home Alone scream of mom that this little her stepbrother is ruining her life basically.
Yeah, I think here the show is still finding itself in these early episodes where we're having these kind of comedy bits for the cold opens that might not be a feature of the show in the future as it grows more and more and more dramatic. But nice to have this kind of lighthearted, like you said, back and forth banter. And Toby already showing signs of kind of the uncomfortable creepiness as he's eyeing her bra hanging from the shower before coming out and mocking her with it.
Yeah, it's gonna get even worse as we get into our next episode too. But Toby is complaining to JT about Ashley, and then Ashley and Terri are putting up posters for her campaign to win class president. While talking about Toby. So they're basically going back and forth. Ashley can't stand that, Toby has entered her life during her eighth grade year, because eighth grade seems like the transition year for a lot of kids, and Ashley gets dumped with a stepbrother. And Toby is just like, "Oh, she doesn't even want me around, JT. She just doesn't like me at all."
Right. And I imagine a lot of mixed families are encountering some of this, early on, especially when we're first moving in. I know the Brady's never really showed this much animosity between siblings, but nice to see starting out that we do have some struggles here between Ashley and Toby, as their parents are not married yet by any stretch, but they are living together, and this seems to be some of the growing pains that they're going through. Both of them mention even some family therapy talk that they've heard. So they're already in the midst of trying to, get some help to make the transition into living in the same house and attending the same school go smoothly.
We then meet our, our basically popular student, cliche person, and that is Paige Michalchuk. Paige comes in and says Ashley is focusing more on her issues than her looks, so we know where Paige's head at. That looks mean everything, and politics mean nothing to Paige. So Paige is going to be a protagonist and antagonist throughout the seasons, as we'll see as the story progresses.
Oh yeah, Paige shows up straight out of a Target back to school ad with the full outfit, and we get the toe to head tilt of the camera, really giving us the full take it in with the clear, the transparent purse and everything that she's carrying, and she even hits them immediately with the new year, new look, new Paige. We set the tone for who this character is immediately.
Oh yes, we do. She's going to.
Did you have those heart sunglasses? Did you have those heart sunglasses in high school, Grooney, like Paige?
No, I did not, but I did get the nickname Grooney in high school, so that stuck for a while.
Okay.
Emma and Manny walk into the halls, and we meet two boys named Spinner and Jimmy. Jimmy is played by Aubrey Graham, who we all know now as Drake, the rapper. So this is a young Drake here, whose real name is Aubrey Graham. He plays Jimmy. Spinner asks them where their hall pass is. They don't have one, and Spinner it's just like, oh, I was just messing around. But typical 7th graders to buy that. And you just see Jimmy just like laughing in the distance too. Like, oh, typical 7th graders don't know what's going on.
Yeah, what stood out for me throughout this episode and our second one, I'll see is, there's a real like difference, noticeable difference between the 7th and 8th graders, just like size, stature, and even just like attitude. And they're only a year apart, but to see that it feels like such a like they're from different molds or like different worlds entirely. I don't know if I recall, like, because our grade 7, grade 8 obviously went to the same school as well. But here it's like they're picking on them almost like seniors to freshmen in this world. So we'll see how that continues throughout.
Yeah, we didn't really interact with each other in my middle school. Like the 6th graders just stuck with the 6th graders. Some of the 6th graders were friends with 7th graders, but no one was really friends with the 8th graders. So you really just had each other's class.
Yeah, and keep an eye on this one, Gurney, as we go through the episodes. I'll be doing it too. It from what I can tell so far in these first 2 episodes, Degrassi is only a school for 7th and 8th grade. We don't meet any 9th graders or even anybody lower than 6th grade. So even though in future seasons this obviously becomes where all of the high schoolers are and the graduates are, I don't think we see them through these first couple of years, do we?
No, not really at all. It's not until like season 5, I think.
So there's some wing of Degrassi that they're all being hidden in until our cast is allowed to venture there, I guess.
Yeah, when the 8th grade is allowed to adventure there, with the 7th graders trailing behind too. Like it's almost like they're tagging along together until we see the split.
Mm-hmm.
Emma, Manny, JT, and Toby are waiting for homeroom, and their teacher is Mr. Simpson, who we saw in the last episode was saving Emma's life and reconnected with Spike at their reunion, who is Emma's mom. By the way, Spike's real name is Christine Nelson. I forgot that. I was like, oh, her name's just Spike, but it's actually Christine Nelson, as we'll get to see where the parents go from here as well, too.
Yep, Christine Nelson, and of course, Mr. Simpson, Archie Snake, member of the Zit Remedy, and will be a main player in the Degrassi school moving on.
So we know that there are actually 2 teachers in this in the realm of Degrassi so far, because Mr. Simpson is the 7th grade homeroom teacher. The 8th grade homeroom teacher is named Mrs. Kwan. She is talking to the 8th graders. Paige says she's going to start a spirit squad cheer team. And like Miss Kwan's like, oh, that's great, Paige. Meanwhile, Ashley's like, well, I'm going to be running for class president. And Miss Kwan's like, that's really great, Ashley, like, showing like what student dedication is. So Miss Kwan already playing favorite. She has no time for Paige because Paige doesn't care about her academics, only her looks and popularity, while Ash fighting for the real truth and justice of the school.
Yeah. We also get Ms. Kwan calling out the boys we met earlier, and Spinner obviously introduces us to his nickname of Spinner. Says, hey, I'd prefer Ms. Kwan if you call me Spinner. And we learn he's had 12 detentions last year, and so she's saying, hey, keep it up and you'll be facing some more this year. So obviously from his bullying already in the hallway to now their first interaction in the class, painting a picture of a bit of a character that Spinner is going to be that we deal with over time. And hopefully he's not corrupting our pal Drake there.
No, but as we learn also from Miss Kwan that Spinner's real name is Gavin Mason.
Yeah.
So, we'll keep an eye on him as well. Spinner is acting like the typical 8th grader, like, oh, I run this school, and Jimmy's just like his little sidekick. Emma, Manny, and JT and Toby are in the hall. Emma notices Ashley's poster, and Manny thinks she's pretty. Toby is complaining that Ashley hates him, going to Degrassi. Toby is then trying to convince JT to run against Ashley for class president because he wants to make Ashley's life a living hell, basically, and because he doesn't think that Ashley respects him. So he's like, oh, JT, why don't you just run for class president? And JT's like, no, dude, are you out of your mind? I have no chance of winning. But JT actually says, I'll do it for you as a favor. And then when JT says, oh, do you think I have a chance? And Toby goes, dude, you have no chance in hell, basically, of winning this election.
Right, and the idea is that he wants to run JT as a joke, to make a joke and kind of like embarrass Ashley through the campaign, and just make it difficult. There's nobody running against her. He thinks she's kind of making his life difficult, so why not try to take away something that she enjoys? Gritty, what I love about these hallway scenes is the way they're always kind of cast with extras, and the costume designers, what they must imagine high schoolers dress like and look like. And apparently it's always true that no high schooler wears a hat normally. They're all either to the side or backwards or tilted in some way. And we see that throughout with the extras here at Degrassi. I absolutely crack up just watching that. The hallway filled with weird hats.
We're then introduced to Liberty Van Zandt, who is running for treasurer. She introduces herself to Ashley and says she is running, actually not treasurer, she's running for secretary, and she wants to discuss topics to Ashley, but Ashley shrugs her off and tells her to wait for the results. Then Toby is seen making posters of JT, and Mr. Simpson says it's 10 cents a copy. So Toby's jaw drops because he's making copy after copy, not knowing that it's 10 cents each time you make a copy.
10 cents Canadian, of course. So we're not sure. That might not be. Who knows? That might be a huge cost. We're not sure. Yes, and Liberty, just like Paige, gets the intro that is going. And they do this with every character here as we first meet them. Really kind of hit their main character notes right away. Liberty comes in and is this fast-talking but very well-spoken, articulate, clear, overachieving student who is, although as an overachiever she has her sights set on being the secretary in running for office, but clearly has plans and working together with Ashley, and is gunning to make those, take this very seriously and very official. So all of our players are really coming into place, well defined early on.
Yeah, we know what type of character each of these kids are playing. JT's playing the geeky, the funny comedic role. Toby's playing the geeky nerd. Manny's trying to play the popular, typical 7th grader, and Emma's just the free-spirited, but, has a heart role. And we all know that Liberty is take control and be powerful role here.
Yeah.
And like I said, our popular stereotype girl is Paige.
There you go.
Yep, so the character structure is coming together. Ashley then sees Toby putting up posters and says 8th graders are usually the president, but Toby says this year it will be a 7th grader. JT is then asked why he wants to be president, and Toby says JT is a man who cares about the students. JT says he will be the best president ever. Emma says she's going to vote for JT. Ashley promises a night dance while JT promises students can use the staff bathrooms.
Yep, we move into the tropes of these high school shows where we have a student election and making promises, based off of absolute nonsense of what kind of power a student president actually has. So we're promising dances, we're promising using teacher restrooms or teacher lounges, etc. All kind of playing into those ideas. We didn't get any campaign videos. I'm a little disappointed there, but the campaign was really only a day long apparently. So We'll hopefully move into wrapping this up with the vote in the next couple scenes.
Yeah, we are seeing, like you said, the whole typical, I promise this, I promise that. Ashley's like, oh, I'm going to give us a dance, and make sure that I win. I'll promise you fun. But JT also promises, oh, I'll get you upper perks. You guys can use the staff bathrooms and everything. So they're going back and forth trying to promise the students everything to get more votes. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley's arguing with Toby at home about JT running, says he doesn't care about the school and that Toby did this just to spite and bug Ashley. The next day, Toby says Ashley will lose to a 7th grader. And then Paige says that Ashley will win in the campaign video. Then she shows off all of her stuff. And then Toby is then showing JT that the poll results say that it's just neck and neck between Ashley and JT, but JT worries about actually winning. So we have the typical fight at home that Ashley is mad that Toby is running this campaign because he hates Ashley.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, Grudy, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, these TV shows that had presidential campaigns in schools would always have a character, talking about, oh, we're looking at the polls and we got the updated numbers, whether it was in Parker Lewis, Saved by the Bell, and then here in Degrassi. And I 100% believed that that this was something that actually happened in school elections. Oh yeah, there are poll numbers that people are following, and you can see how we're trending in that way. A prisoner of television, I guess, in that way, but obviously not so sophisticated, the elections. But hey, maybe up in Canada again, they actually were advanced in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when we get to our actual voting. So let's see. So then we have Paige. She's showing off all of her stuff. She's saying that Ashley's gonna win, but she's like, oh, look at me, I have everything. So that's typical. Oh, I'm popular and you're not and stuff. Liberty says that she will be sad if Ashley loses, but will work with JT. And then Jimmy and Spinner, out of nowhere, they come and they take JT to the locker room where Ashley offers JT, she haggled, they haggle for him to drop out of the campaign. First it was $40, and then JT was no, I want $80 total, And so JT actually agrees to $80, and he's going to drop out of the election for $80. So little underhanded tactics here by Ashley. What do you think, John?
Yeah, underhanded, obviously looking to do what she can to secure the election. Apparently this is, really meant something to her. She had spent her summer looking forward to it. Obviously, we see her at the beginning already with her campaign posters ready to go. The great shot and great just direction here of the image of Spinner and Jimmy grabbing JT by the arms and dragging him off into the gym. We get that kind of low angle shot looking up at them, and they're intimidating as the henchmen kind of dropping him off, and Ashley says, you can leave him. I did a quick conversion for you. The 80 Canadian that they agree on, Grudy, in today's money, about $57. So I don't know. JT probably could have held out for a bit more, but I'm not sure what the exchange rate was back then.
Yeah, I think he's getting robbed here. Also, Ashley says he wants him to do it in front of the whole school.
Yes. Yeah, to make a show of it and, support her. So really just trying to set aside that, make people forget about this other character here and, Toby's kind of plot that he had put together.
Hmm. So then now Emma and Manny are walking through the hall when Spinner shoots a spitball at her. Manny cries and Terri reprimands Spinner, but Manny was just faking it. JT then tells Toby that Ashley paid him to lose. JT is making his speech when Toby talks to Ashley. Toby tells Ashley he will tell everyone that Ashley bribed JT to drop out. Ashley then tells Toby that ever since him and his dad moved in, Toby has made everything difficult for her. JT then announces that he quits. So with all this stuff going on, it's like, oh wow, you know, all this talk for JT running for class president comes to a halt basically as he says, "Nope, I quit. I can't do this," and he drops out. What about Spinner shooting a spitball at Manny John? That was low.
Yeah, definitely low. I wasn't a big spitball guy in school, and I don't know if there really was a thing that you saw too much in the New Jersey middle schools and high schools at the time. But yeah, Spinner really just they're ramping up the whole kind of goofball, bullyish, status that we get for him, and I think we'll soften the edges on him a little bit as the seasons go on. But just to again point out the kind of the disparity between the eighth graders and seventh graders here, as it is kind of the job of the eighth graders to make the seventh graders' lives difficult, it seems, no matter what, at Degrassi. And Spinner's happy to do that.
Yeah, so then we have Ashley and Toby, they're arguing. Ashley then says that ever since you and your dad moved in, everything's been difficult, and Toby just walks away from her, not really like saying anything. She goes, "Okay, fine, you want me out of my life, fine, blah blah blah." And then, like I said, JT drops out of the race, and Mr. Radich is like, "Oh well, you quit. Well, we're gonna have a talk about this." So JT might actually be in trouble for not actually taking this role seriously, as we'll see later on. Then, so what did you think of JT dropping out of the race, Sean?
Well, he gave his speech that was clearly, just a bunch of bad one-line jokes. If I had a few words, I'd have a better speech and that type of thing. It's funny to see Mr. Radich kind of, taking it seriously and wanting to, or getting upset with JT now for not taking the race seriously. I mean, think about his posters that we saw before putting up called him unqualified and like unexperienced or whatever. So it seems that they had positioned him as kind of not taking this seriously already. Funny that Mr. Radich is only just now catching on. But yeah, setting the stage for Ashley now to concede as she is making this deal with Toby, shows that he can blackmail just with the best of them. But we'll see as it kind of comes to a head and we get to see what happens to actually get the result of the election. At this point, I'm kind of worried. Are we going to end up with Liberty as president? With this kind of obnoxious go-getter we met earlier in the episode? It feels like everybody's going to drop out and we could end up there. So take it away, Rudy.
Nope. Jimmy then walks Ashley home, and he actually says, "Congratulations, Miss President." So it looks like Ashley is going to be the president. Jimmy then walks off, and Ashley is seen talking to Toby about their problems, and they will try and work things out. So it comes off as like a little happy ending that even though Toby tried to get Ashley to like lose this race, this election, this bogus election, like race here, because no one thought JT was gonna win for a second. Like, she understands that Ashley and Toby have to make things work for their parents, and that they can get along through counseling, and that Ashley will try and be a little bit nicer to Toby as well here.
Yep. As sitcom tropes would have it, the actual the sabotage efforts by Toby actually got them talking and brought them together. They had their effect and had some comedy with it, but at the same time, like in the end, got them talking more so than the therapist probably had at that point, and they seem to be getting on the same page here, Toby and Ashley moving forward. So good to see that the house is in order. Degrassi is in order with its new president, and we can move forward with our season. And also maybe seeds planted here with our buddy Drake walking Ashley home. Jimmy maybe trying to slide in as a first man, as it would be maybe in the Oval Office of Degrassi.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with Jimmy and Ashley. So that's going to bring us to the end of our first episode of the night. John, who do you think is the MVP of the episode?
My MVP here has got to be, I got to go with Toby. And I think this will be one of the only times that I give Toby an MVP. He's one of my least favorite characters on the show. But it's his ideas that really drive the action. He is, kind of manipulative of JT, but at the same time also, it is in using him to get back at Ashley, and the fact that he has his kind of, come around moment at the end and is able to connect with Ashley. I'd say Toby's our MVP here.
I'll give it to Toby. I actually almost was going to give the MVP to Ashley, because she had all of her priorities in order with the election and everything, and she was putting on a great front too, with all of her promises and stuff, and that she was not going to let anybody beat her for presidency. Who do you have for LVP, John?
LVP, I guess. LVP, I'd go with Spinner here. He doesn't, although he is really kind of adding to this, like I said, the strife, the struggle between the grade 8s, the grade 7s. He just comes off as fairly dislikable, not in a funny way. The spitballs and just kind of natural bullying of the 7th graders is not pleasant. Hopefully he'll round into a better character as we move on. But right now, just not really bringing much to the table. Even Jimmy was a little better, as it seemed like he was kind of going along with Spinner and not exactly stirring up all the problems.
Yeah, I would give the LVP to Spinner as well. He basically does that spitball. It's dude, that's so immature. He does the spitball to Manny. With Toby actually coming in as a close second for me as LVP, because it seemed like all he did was just complain about everything instead of talking about it. And for all we know, he got JT into detention for not taking the election seriously. Mr. Radich has punished JT for
good point. Yeah.
Yes. So we will see how bad Toby is throughout the season, or if he is a really good guy, as John pointed out. We now get into our second episode of the night. It is episode 4, Eye of the Tiger. No, not Eye of the Tiger. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. The Beholder. Yeah, wow. Eye of the Tiger is actually another episode in another season, too. It is called Eye of the Holder. We see Terri. She is eating breakfast when her dad walks in, talking about a dance. So this actually goes back to the dance that Ashley has promised the students, and that it will be a night dance, because apparently before this one, Degrassi only had afternoon dances at 3 o'clock till 6, basically.
Yeah, Degrassi students. Well, I mean, we saw from Wheels, driving drunk in old Degrassi seasons, leading to a student being blind and paralyzed, or all the things that happened in the old 1980s Degrassi. Maybe all of that is carried over and led to the fact that they're like, listen, no night dances. You kids can't handle it. And that's been the process. So Spike, Snake, all of them, their behavior is influencing the potential to have night dances here.
Yeah, so we'll see if Mr. Radich obliges, which apparently he does, because like we said, there is going to be a dance tonight. There's going to be a dance that weekend. Terri says she's not going because she says she's fat, but her dad says, you're beautiful. Terri says she's not going because no one will want to dance with her. And she calls herself a fat cow. So we're really getting a lot of these early school like problems, oh, I have a new stepbrother, and I don't want to go to the dance because I'm fat. So these typical high school problems are coming into play very early, John.
Yeah, coming into play. And cheers to Terri's dad chugging down what looks like a full bottle of Sunny D out of the fridge there. Like in the morning, really professional on his way to work here. But trying to reassure his daughter, who is, I'm too fat to go to the dance. Nobody will want to see me, and that will be a kind of a recurring theme for Terri throughout our first couple seasons, is her efforts to land a boyfriend. So hopefully she can come around on that here this episode.
Yeah, and what I like about these episodes is that it's not just focusing on Emma the whole time. These episodes have really jumped from character to character. We saw Emma in the first two episodes. Then we get a Ashley and Toby episode. Now we have a Terri leading the charge episode here with the characters still involved. But it's good that they're really focusing on one character at a time and giving all these characters a lead for the episodes here.
Yeah, really building out the Degrassi universe here as we can really get a feel for who all the players are in the school. So when, and they kind of intertwine with each other throughout as the season progresses, and becomes just, a more real lived in world for us.
Mm-hmm. Spinner is outside picking on a 7th grader, and he asks Terri for her geography notes and asks if she is going to the dance, but she says no. She meets up with Ashley, who says this dance has to go perfect, or else Radich is going to make it day dances again. Paige talks to Spinner about the dance, and Paige says for him to save her a dance. So Paige is eyeing Spinner as well, but we see that, Spinner really wants to dance with Terri, John.
Yeah, it wants to that says, as Ashley points out, hey, he doesn't need your geography notes. This is him flirting with you. And we see Paige kind of listening in, kind of just trying to, she seems clearly jealous of this, and says, no, Spinner wanting to dance. No, that's not the case here. She's definitely got something scheming going on here.
Mm-hmm. Ashley then says that Terri should ask Spinner, but Terri says she can't go. She has to help her dad. And then we see a young boy being dropped off on a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. So we see, like you said, Terri says, no, I can't go. I have to help my dad. And then we see a mystery character who we don't know yet, John. So who's this cool kid?
Yeah, well, he'll be introduced in front of the class, but we see pulling up on the motorcycle, helmet fully intact, safety first in the world of Degrassi, always. But this is Sean Cameron, and he is going to be a major player among Degrassi moving forward, and really kind of enters our show with a bang, as you'll see, on the motorcycle, and I think our next scene is he kind of comes and joins the class in the media immersion room.
Mm-hmm. Manny says she can't go to the dance because it's at night. So a lot of these parents are keeping their kids home because it's a night dance, and we all know what happens at nights in Degrassi, don't we, John?
At nights in Canada, in Degrassi, absolutely. There's nothing good that happens up there. You could be, You could run into some predators who have pizza boxes staying in a hotel near you. There's all kinds of things what we've seen so far, but that only gets worse as things move on. But with this night dance, hey, we're hoping to really, really set the world on fire, apparently, and so this is a big deal moving forward. Grudy, what was your experience with 7th and 8th grade dances? Did your middle school have these?
Yeah, so we actually had 6th, 7th, and 8th graders dancing together for a little bit. And then they would just do actually ones where it was like just the 6th and 7th graders. And then they would throw like one where it was like only 7th and 8th graders. So it was like once a month a grade had off from not being allowed at the school dance, which was kind of fun, I guess, like interesting. And then at the end they would just have like the 8th graders only dance. So that was kind of fun too.
Were they allowed to be at night at your school? And two, did you attend or did you have to help your dad?
I attended the dances. Yep. Yes, I attended the dances.
Good deal. Yeah, I think the first dances we had were one for 7th grade, one for 8th grade. Our 8th grade dance was actually at the end of the year celebration. They took us to, and wrestling fans will love this, the Fernwood Resort in just over the border in Pennsylvania, which is where they shot a lot of the 1994 Monday Night Raws. And they took our 8th grade class there, and we would have a dinner and dance of all places. So that one we actually had to attend. 7th grade dance was just at the school, and you could, come in if you wanted to, didn't have to. But, yeah.
Mr. Simpson then introduces the guy on the motorcycle, and it's a new student named Sean Cameron. So we get our introduction to Sean Cameron. He seems like the typical rebel outlaw here. So, again, he's going to be a long-standing character staying throughout the seasons as well. But what an introduction for Sean here.
A man of few words, as Mr. Simpson asks, hey, tell the students a little bit about yourself, Sean. And he just says, no, then makes his way to his seat. We're like already kind of a man of mystery. We see that he's clearly seems a little older than the students he's being placed with here in grade 7, which is similar to what I pointed out, like the last episode, like the difference in size between the grade 8s and grade 7s is really glaring. Sean kind of stands out among the Emmas, Manny's, Tobys of the world that he's now joining here.
Yeah, like he's like the standout 7th grader. When we'll find out what happened here as well. Paige then sees Spinner looking at Terri, and Paige gets mad. She wants Spinner all to herself. Ashley and Terri are then talking, and Terri tells Ashley no one will want to dance with her. So, again, we get a jealous Paige, and then Ashley is like, why don't you go to the dance? And again, Terri says, no one's going to want to dance with me. So Terri is self-doubting herself, and Ashley's like, come on, I'll give you a makeover, and we'll make you look pretty and everything.
Paige even tries to come to Terry's aid here, and it's just like, hey, if she doesn't want to go, she doesn't want to go, or if she can't go, she can't, and clearly doing that for her own benefit, trying to keep Terri away from Spinner at the dance. But Ashley here is offering, says, come to my house, we'll do basically a makeover. We'll get you dressed, and it'll be perfect. It'll be great. Oh boy, exactly what we want to see. Right?
Yep. Jimmy then tries to talk to Sean, but he's having none of it. So apparently Sean was a 7th grader in Jimmy's class. He leaves for a little while. So while Jimmy and Spinner, Terri and Paige and Ashley are all in the 8th grade, Sean gets held back and has to repeat the 7th grade. He went back home apparently, but now he's back here with, as we'll see, his brother. So that's Sean's story for now, and Jimmy is basically just picking on Sean here.
Yeah, he's trying to be a good guy, but he said, the way he does it, he's like, hey man, good to have you back. you know what? It will be cool with you, like the eighth graders, even though and like it's just very, very condescending in the way Jimmy is approaching this. Thanks Drake for trying to be nice here, but maybe retool your kind of like people skills.
Mm-hmm. So Ashley offers to give Terri a makeover. Paige says she wants to make sure everything then goes well. Then we have JT. He tells Toby to ditch the dance and look at websites, porn websites no less. And then
he's got a piece of paper with some URLs on them that he finagled from some other person who handed them to him. I don't know what this transaction looked like, where somebody was just like, "Here you go, little kid. Here's some website addresses that I wrote down on a piece of paper for you."
Yep. Then Liberty then convinces Emma to go to the dance, because she's like, "Oh, Emma, those two are losers, and Manny can't go." So Liberty's like, "Come on, I'll go with you, and we can have a great time." So Emma's not going to let anything stop her. She's going to go to the dance. So a little bit of like, "Oh, I don't know if I should go here, John."
Yeah, but hey, everybody's coming together. We are going to get to the dance. Obviously, we're removing Manny. Won't be there. I don't know. Maybe they couldn't pay the actress that one day or some, we're filming at night, so labor laws, she wasn't able to be there at the time. But, we're going to remove her from the scene. Emma on her own, really, the first time we're going to see that, as opposed to the last time we saw her on her own, she was at the hotel, like trying to meet her online boyfriend. So hopefully it goes better for her this time.
Yeah, hopefully it does here. Ashley gives, so JT and Toby are hanging out at Toby's house, and they wait for Toby's parents to leave, and they get on the computer. Ashley gives Terri a makeover, and Terri agrees to go to the dance. Terri looks at herself in the mirror, and Paige tries to fix Terri. Then Emma is seen walking into the dance here. So a lot going on. Ashley gives Terri the makeover. JT and Toby are downstairs cracking into the computer here. And then Paige is like, "Oh no, I should fix you up even more."
Yeah, so Ashley needs to leave to go, help run the dance, and so Paige and Terri stay behind. Paige says, "Hey, I'll help make a couple of finishing touches here, and we'll, she needs to do her makeup as well. Obviously, she's got some other plans in mind here, but Ashley leaves the two of them. Meanwhile, Toby, JT, really getting into what they can uncover here as they start exploring online. And Emma arriving at the dance in her very simple 7th grade outfit of purple shirt with a pink heart, of course, elicits some rude comments from our buddy Spinner already.
Mm-hmm. Toby and JT disable the firewall, but the connection is lost. Paige is then upstairs pouring wine and telling Terri to lead, basically, like, "Oh, let's go to the dance." The connection is back up, and JT and Toby look at naked women. So shenanigans, basically, from our two 7th grade boys here.
Of course, yeah. They've seen it. I think earlier the JT said, "Hey, it's a rite of passage. This is what we're supposed to do as young men." And Toby's discussion on when they're deciding which website to go to first, of course, Toby says, "Let's go to the one with 3 X's." Oh, man. Things are heating up in the Isaacs household. Paige, with Terri feeling uncomfortable, says, "You know what? We should have a little sherry." And starts pouring glass after glass for our girl Terri to help her loosen up as they get ready to finally make their way to the dance.
Mm-hmm. Terri is drunk, and she walks into the dance. Ashley notices Terri is drunk. Terri is ready for Spinner. Terri runs into Spinner. He says, "She looks very pretty." Jimmy then makes fun of Sean for having to repeat the 7th grade. Sean grabs him, but Emma then sees what's going on and then asks Sean to dance before Mr. Raj sees what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is where we finally get the reveal of what is the truth behind the story behind this guy, Sean. Jimmy, clearly knew him from before, and here we hear, he says, "Hey, it's, I'm having a party. It's grade 8s only. We'll make the exception for you." And Sean's pissed. He's like, "Listen, it sucks enough that I have to repeat 7th grade. I don't need you rubbing it in my face." But thankfully, Emma comes to the rescue, diffuses the situation by having Sean, inviting Sean to dance. And this is really kicking off what is going to be like the cornerstone relationship of the early Degrassi seasons, that Emma-Sean story as we get here. So a key moment in Degrassi history starting here, and I don't mean Toby finding the XXX website.
No. So we'll see what transpires between Emma and Sean after this weekend.
I absolutely love Terri's drunk slow dancing. It looks hilarious as she is just like hunched over, like holding on to Spinner, like as if he is like holding her up. It is such a great visual. So kudos to the actress for pulling that off. It makes me laugh just watching it.
Yep. Terri then dances with Spinner, and she calls him cute and asks Spinner if he believes in love at first sight. Then JT and Toby are looking at naked women. Toby asks if those are real, meaning are her boobs real or not? And then Toby's parents walk in. Well, his dad walks in with Ashley's mom, and then he goes, "Oh, I would say those are silicone, so they're busted."
Yep, busted at the Isaac's house, and then and Terri, getting like hopefully not ruining the night dance for everybody, as Ashley has been concerned with, but amidst her slow dance with Spinner, starts feeling sick, and needs to run off here, needs to excuse herself.
Yep, so she's dancing drunk and she falls. Paige then starts to dance with Spinner, and Spinner then starts dancing with Paige. So, Paige got what she wanted and she stole Spinner, basically. Terri then pukes in the bathroom. And then the next day, JT and Toby tell Emma and Manny about their night, how they had to spend the whole night with Mr. Isaacs and Ashley's mom, looking at naked women and how they are not objects. Manny and Emma call them losers. And then we see Terri walking to school, and she's talking with Ashley. She's like, "Oh my God, I hope I didn't ruin anything." And Ashley's like, "No, Raj didn't see a thing, so you're fine." Spinner then asks Terri if she's feeling better, and Terri says, "Yeah." And then he gives her back the geography notes. Paige then says Spinner will be using her notes from now on as our episode fades to black here.
What a just like bitch move, and what a great euphemism here. I don't know what to say about the usage of, "Oh, he's using my geography notes. He won't be needing your notes anymore." I'm sure these notes in geography class are so amazing, apparently. But power move by Paige, really, showing that she was not the friend of this group that that she was trying to be or pretending to be earlier. And we definitely saw in the last episode, even kind of Terri kind of making fun of Paige a little bit when Paige was talking about needing to do the Spirit Squad instead of doing, running for president. So, but Paige, showing her power, showing her manipulative strengths here, and has now maneuvered her way into a relationship, I guess, with Spinner is what we can perceive, at least a geography notes sharing one. And poor Terri left once again alone.
Yeah, so in these two episodes, we get more on Ashley Ashley, Terri, Paige, Jimmy and Spinner, and we are introduced to new character Sean Cameron, who we know is a repeating seventh grader here, John. So we'll see what happens in our next two episodes. But what do we have? Who do we have for our MVP of this episode, John?
My MVP's got to be Terri here. I think Terri is outstanding throughout, from the not fighting about wanting to go to the dance at first to gathering up the strength, the courage to do so through the makeover and through a little help of Sherry, and also just her embarrassment at the end. But it's her story here, and she to me is the real MVP.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Terri as well. Well, she got enough courage through her friends that she can go to this dance and be herself. LVP, I'm actually going to go with Paige because Paige got what she wanted, and Paige played dirty here.
Yeah, well, good job, Paige. I don't mind that. I think Paige is kind of root for the bad guy here in a way, or like at least tip your hat to the bad guy behavior. My LVP, and this will hopefully be recurring, is my man Toby. Removing himself from any relevancy in the story, like not wanting to pursue actual relationships with girls or potential there by going to the dance. Instead, really wanting to stay at home, look at porn with his buddy. Is in charge of disabling the firewall, the parental block, and obviously this perverted mind looking for the triple X's right away. Get out of here, Toby, and stay in the LVP slot. Welcome to where you will likely be receiving this multiple times on my behalf.
I think it was like in the episode of The Simpsons where they go over like the 3 X's mean that like it's very, very, very drunk in alcohol, So yeah, Toby was very easily manipulated by JT to look at porn here. Gosh, it's so bad of Toby. But I stand by stand. I give Paige the LVP. I think Paige should have just minded her own business and let Terri have her day. But no.
Couldn't do it. But hey, we've got what a great power 2 episodes here. I think we've got our full 8th grade class in place now, our full 7th grade class. We've met the teachers, the principal, really can start building out those relationships with each other moving forward, so that everything's in place now to really kind of hit the gas on the season.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's going to do it from us here tonight for whatever it takes. But John, before we go, do you have anything that you want to plug the listeners to?
You know what? Check out everything that's been going on North-South Connection and on the Place to Be podcast. I've really been enjoying the countdown to SummerSlam that you guys do. Kind of looking forward to each match. And, of course, check out every 3 weeks. If you like melodramas and teen TV soaps, check out the 90210 No So podcast so that you can keep up with how high schoolers in America were struggling with their senior year moving forward.
Yeah, quite the opposite of the difference between Canadian high schools and American high schools.
Hey, man, we're still in middle school here. We're still in grade 7, grade 8. And we say it backwards in Canada, too. So,
Yep. As for me, you can mostly find me on the Place to Be Nation wrestling feed. I have 2 shows on there. One is called Extreme Resurrection, where me and Steve Riddle go through ECW on Sci-Fi. We are heading into Cyber Sunday 2007, where CM Punk will face a opponent of the viewers' choices here. Where will it be? Big Daddy V, The Miz, or John Morrison for a shot at CM Punk's ECW title. Also, we're seeing a lot of SmackDown and ECW superstars on the same show, as we will have a monster ball bash between Viscera, Kane, and Mark Henry, and Great Khali as well. So you can catch all that on ECW on Extreme Resurrection. And I also have Nation Invasion. By the time this drops, me and Steve Riddle, we went over Raw and SmackDown from 2001, where Rob Van Dam faced Stone Cold in the main event of SmackDown, and Kurt Angle kidnapped Stone Cold on Monday Night Raw. Well, that's
Talk about a dichotomy of a juxtaposition of two pretty very different eras. You're doing the Lord's work there, Gurney, with the ECW. That's some pretty rough stuff. And then the Invasion, though maligned at times, has some really great stuff with Angle in there. So at least you're getting some entertaining stuff to log in with that awful ECW. Good on you for being able to endure that.
Yep. Well, that's going to do it from us here tonight on Whatever It Takes. I'm James Gruenberg. He's John Keselika, and we will see you next time.